What's up, YouTube? This is Biblical Truther. I'm going to start this video with some scripture. Matthew 16, 2 and 3. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? We're in some crazy times right now, and I hope you guys can discern what time we're in. I'm pretty sure most all of you can. It's the everyday people that we talk to that cannot. And the Bible tells us that, you know, Jesus doesn't lose not one person who was found written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And that tells me that we're going to come across some people in this world that are just not going to receive the gospel. They're not going to understand. They don't have the ears to hear nor the eyes to see. But I want to share some things with you from my video yesterday about the angel that rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm. And then the little Paw Patrol excerpt that my wife heard about someone making the whirlwind more powerful. That's pretty crazy that happened yesterday, and then Trump all of a sudden announces that he has coronavirus, and his wife, Melania. And that's just perfect, and I've seen quite a few videos today about it, and I agree with most all of them that this could work out in a number of ways perfectly for the agenda, whether it be mandating the vaccine or just more or less coercing people into taking it, especially when something like this happens. And I'm going to play a video that Leland Jones put up, a piece of his video anyway, and I hope he don't mind, but it's exactly what I thought when I heard it this morning. And as soon as I got in my truck on the way to work, I watched his video, so check this out.
Right here. Okay. The real Donald Trump. So this person is talking about this Simpsons episode of Donald Trump after being president in a casket. Okay. So let's take a look at how this could be a major sign and a major prophetic event in Revelation 13. But let's keep in mind this is a fluid situation. We're learning this. Many of the scriptures may happen right before our eyes, but they may happen differently than what we expect. Now, why is this so significant? When we go to Revelation 13, here on Revelation 13, it talks about this figure called the Antichrist. He's called the beast, okay? And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, feet like a bear, and his mouth was like a mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. All right, so this beast, we can see with these different characteristics, it stood out of the sea having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, 7 heads. And then it says, I saw one of those 7 heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. Now, when we read this in English, we see wounded and deadly wound, but in the Greek, there's actually 2 words here that describe different things. So the first one, which we can see, shaphazo, all right, it means to slay, to butcher, a sacrifice, okay, to slay, to kill. However, when we see the next word in the Greek word is plagi. And this is where we get the word in English for plague. So coronavirus is a plague. All right, and we've considered, we'll see, let's watch what happens, guys. Let's watch it's a fluid situation, we'll see how it goes. But it's quite possible that the beast receives coronavirus, the coronavirus deadly plague. Then it says, he was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Okay, so let's watch what happens, because the deadly wound may not be like a sword. You can see I'm using a sword to illustrate this, right? So we thought that maybe it's a sword. He is wounded in some way. The Antichrist is wounded in some manner. But As we look closely, we see this deadly wound is a plague. Okay? And again, if we go back and we look at this word, it can mean a stripe, it can mean a wound, but if we look at it in context, we'll see that many of the plagues in the book of Revelation are not slaying or wounds, they're plagues. You can see the word is translated to plague the majority of the times it's used. Now here's another app we can use, and again we can see his deadly wound. All right, plaguey. You can see it's number G4127. And if we search that word and we see its use, and we go to Book of Revelation, we can see the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues. Okay, Revelation 11:6. It says, he will smite the earth with plagues, speaking of the two witnesses. Revelation 13:3. And I saw one of the heads, as it were, wounded to death, and the deadly wound was healed. That's the one we read to you before. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and all that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly plague, wound, was healed. Okay? So it's repeating that. And again, and they shall make an image to the beast that had the wound or the plague. Okay, now here it says by sword. All right, so here it says by sword specifically, but again, the word can mean a plague. All right, and we do know coronavirus is one of the plagues.
Well, that was Leland Jones again, and he's spot on, man. But I took it a little step further, and instead of using or just stopping at the word wound, I went ahead, being that, it says by the sword. Well, let's check it out and see what sword means in the concordance, because love him or hate him, as I've said before, Jonathan Kleck has shown how the elite and the Satanists of this world use the concordance to convey their plans right there in the open, right in our faces. Just like commercials, movies, FF events. I mean, you can see right off the bat, just in the numerology they use in these things, especially the man kneeling on the neck. When that first happened, I tried to make a video that night just off the numbers that they were saying in the video and showing, like the 320 on the car, the badge number of the cop. The little Asian guy, his badge number, what I saw when I put it in my video editor and slowed it down frame by frame, was different than the mainstream told us about. It was a different number that I saw, and it meant in the Strongs a demon. So these people definitely use the concordance to convey messages, and most people, most Christians, don't know about it. So I want to read another scripture. It's Psalms 25:2. It says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings to search them out." Now, I want to make a very controversial video. It pertains to a lot of what Kleck says, but we're going to focus on the second portion of that scripture where it says it is the honor of kings to search them out, because that's what using the concordance and finding out what the original languages says, because as Jesus said, beware of the scribes, the translators of the word, and the Pharisees. Most people just fail to grasp the scribes. So check this out. So this right here is Revelation 13:14, where Leland Jones is just talking about the wound by the sword. The sword is word 3162. Let's see what it means. It's presumed from 3163, a knife that is dirk, figuratively war, judicial punishment, basically like God's judgment, which are the plagues are used for in the book of Revelations. So it doesn't technically mean that it's a physical sword. This could be the judgment of God. So this is Titus 3:9. But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. You see, the Greek word 3163 is strivings. See what it means. It means a battle that is figuratively controversy, fighting, strive, or striving, which is where the word sword is derived from. So technically, sword doesn't actually mean a physical sword. And also 2 Timothy 2:23, but foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes. And strifes is also the Greek word 3163. And one more example is from 2 Corinthians 7:5. For when we were come into Macedonia, our flesh had no rest. We were troubled on every side, without or fightings, within or fears. We see the Greek word 3163 here is fightings. So, I have a few things about all this. Back when let's see, it was the Yellow Vest protest a couple years ago when they first started. I was on my way to work one morning. I had about a 2-hour drive to work every day, so I got to watch quite a few videos in the morning on the way there, listen to them. And I was watching, this was back when I was still a Trump supporter. I was on the Q train, you know, I was one of those deceived individuals. And I was watching all these protests around the world. It was like 7 different countries that they had posted stuff about. And all these demonstrations, quote unquote, you know, riots, whatever you want to call them. People were having signs held up with the letter Q on it, of course. And also, we want Trump as our president, or we love you, Trump. Things like that. And I heard in my spirit, and he deceiveth the whole world. So, to me, it was like a real eye-opener at that moment, because like I said, I was a Trump supporter, I was a Q follower, you know, I held on to every post that he made, and it wasn't until that morning when I got that revelation that I no longer was a Q supporter, I was no longer a Trump supporter, and the Lord took me down a whole different path. And it's been about 3 years now that my eyes have been open to all this, and I've been down just about every rabbit hole you can go down, from the New Age to cloning to the alien agenda. I mean, you name it, I've been down it a good ways, and probably can tell you a good bit about just about every subject. But that was a real eye-opener for me. He deceiveth the whole world, because a lot of people that I talk to, they don't think that there can be such a vast, widespread, worldwide agenda to where everybody's on board for a new world order to take over. But that's exactly what's happening. I mean, you got a 99.997% chance of beating COVID, yet they shut the whole world down. But you try and explain that to people and even show them on the mainstream media where they show these percentages of survival rates on the news, and they still don their mask when they walk outside, or some of them even wear them in their car when they're by themselves, man. Face shields and masks in the car by themselves. It's completely insane.
Signal in my neighborhood, and I wear my face mask when I walk, so I can make sure they all know I'm really smart.
Keep your distance.
But that just goes to show you the mind control that Satan has on the people, and the indoctrination, the brainwashing that has taken place. Like Hitler said, you tell a lie big enough, long enough, and often enough, the people will make it truth. And that's exactly what's happened. I mean, look at the news. Look at, at billboards on the side of the road, signs in the front of every single store you go to is about masks. And you can't tell me that all these different stores that have these racks and racks of designer masks, I'm sorry, it's just insane, but they had all this stuff pre-made. I mean, it takes a long time to design packages and boxing and all the graphics for these packages these masks are sold in, so it takes a good little while. I'm talking a period of months to design this stuff and then put it into production and then get it made. And you know what I'm saying, there's steps and steps to this stuff, and for them to have brought this stuff out in every store, gas station, you name it, it's there. It's just proof that this stuff was orchestrated. Aside from the fact that they had Event 201, 2 months before this thing hit Wuhan, it's just insane. But anyway, I had a thought the other day too, and I think I made a video. I think it involved the Obama and Trump video. But this morning I was thinking about all this stuff, and it just come to mind that, the second beast, when he takes his power, he exercises all the powers of the first beast. Well, what if, and I like to raise questions, but what if Obama is that first beast, and all these executive orders that he put in place, and when I was following Q and Trump, they basically said that Trump was going to use all the executive orders of past presidents to further the Q agenda, when it's been just the opposite. It's been anti-people, basically, the lower class, not the upper class, just like the stimulus package and the red flag laws being hidden right on in there that Trump signed in the law when he signed that stimulus package. You should go read that thing, man. There's a lot of stuff in there that has nothing to do with this virus. It's insane, and then the Trump supporters still don't see it. They just explain it away, or rationalize it in their own mind. And it's really sad, man, that the amount of brainwashing that has taken place. But without Christ, man, without the truth, you're gonna be led astray. You're gonna be NASA, like NASA, I think it's the Hebrew word NASA, which means to lead astray, to deceive. It's just insane how it's right in front of our faces. But I want to see, if Trump does have this virus and he does end up, in a box like The Simpsons showed, well, what is going on? He's got a backup, I believe, and Enter the Stars has done quite a few videos about him and the two-faced guy Janice, the twin. And I did a video about this twin Trump a while back. You should go check that out. But I'm gonna play this video right quick from CNN. So take a look at this.
Image of President Trump. The video shows a gentleman in a plaid shirt checking out scratch-off lottery tickets at a gas station convenience store. Look at his face. He's a double for the president. Separated at birth, says one tweet. So who's the mystery lookalike?
I would love to find out who this guy is.
One clue, the first 6 digits of the gas station's phone number on the window. It's a 903 area code, Northeast Texas. One citizen sleuth thinks it's a gas station in the small town of Dangerfield, Texas. Population 2,460. Here's another clue. He's wearing a U.S. Navy cap. Whoever he is, he sure is Donald's double.
So that's Trump's doppelganger. You know, for when he supposedly dies, they got a replacement for him. It's kind of crazy. They had it all over YouTube, all over the news back in, I think it was 2018. That aired October 5th, 2018. And then you had Jimmy Kimmel talking about two Trumps. You had, oh man, you'd have to go look at that video. I forget. Ben Carson talked about two Trumps. Quite a few people talked about two Trumps. You know, you got the red tie Trump and the blue tie Trump. So if our beloved president was happened to die from this, I mean, how perfect would that be for this agenda, man? When that word came yesterday, I didn't quite know what it meant. But then my wife called and texted me and told me about the whole Paw Patrol thing, that someone's making the Whirlwind stronger. This would definitely make the storm that Trump talked about much stronger for all those who oppose this VC or oppose the agenda that's rolling out worldwide. So, just something to think about. The whole second beast thing, I don't know, man. That's just crazy, because a lot of interpretations been made over the Bible, and then a lot of scribes or translators of the Bible has used words to kind of throw you off the trail. But Jesus says in the end of Revelations, he who changes any word or any scripture in this book, woe unto them. So that's why we need to go a little deeper, man. If you don't know what the concordance is, get you a concordance. I got the app, a free app on Google Play. You can get Strong's Concordance, and it's got all of it in there. That's where I got the clips from earlier. Got to go deeper, man. We got to study these things and see exactly the context in which it was written, because we can take some scripture a certain way when it wasn't meant to be that way or meant to be understood that way. But that's the curse of the English language, so I just wanted to make this video right quick and bring up a couple points about this. It's just too perfect for these guys. So we'll see how this thing unfolds, and just be vigilant, be sober-minded, because the deception runs deep, man. Very, very deep. I love you guys.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God,
signal in my neighborhood, and I wear my face mask when I walk so I can make sure they all know I'm really smart.
Keep your distance.